Welcome back to the Keep It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix. And yeah, here we are. Apparently, you can accept gifts from customers at Kohl's. So this happened, I believe, 3 years ago. But I guess for whatever reason, she decided to make a TikTok later. So here we are. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Before we go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. All right. So it says, I bought myself Converse. Kohl's worker says she was fired after a customer gifted her with $30 in Kohl's cash. It says they accused me of stealing. So it says a former Kohl's worker says they were accused of stealing and fired after the customer gave them $30 in Kohl cash in a viral TikTok. It says in a video with over 263,000 views, TikToker, why do I eat so much? Why do you eat so much? That's the question. All right, says that a customer told her she could keep the Kohl's cash she earned from her purchase. I don't really consider it stealing, she said in the clip. I was ringing up this customer and she had $30 in Kohl's cash. So I gave it to her. She was like, no, I don't want to come back. I'm done Christmas shopping. She was like, you can have it. The TikToker says that she accepted the Kohl's cash and thanked the customer, then used the Kohl's cash to purchase a pair of Converse. The next day, she says that her manager took her into the office and asked her if there was anything she would like to confess. She said no. The manager then informed her that she was being reprimanded for accepting a customer's Kohl's cash, which they considered stealing. She continues that she asked them to show her footage of the incident to prove that the customer had given her the Kohl's cash. They refused and informed her she was not allowed to work at any Kohl's location ever again. She says the incident occurred 3 years ago. While some users pointed out that her actions were against Kohl's policies, others with experience working at Kohl's said they were frequently uninformed about various store policies. I've only been working at Kohl's for a month and I was already accused of stealing because I rang myself up and used my discount, one user shared. They told me that you're not supposed to ring yourself up. They literally just threw me on the register on my first day and accused me of stealing a blanket. Another person said, I worked there for a year. I didn't know you can't do that. I would have done it too. Another wrote. Let me go to the TikTok right quick and then I'll come back to some more of the comments.
Really considering stealing, but I was ringing up this customer and she had $30 Kohl's cash. So I gave it to her. I was like, you can use it like through these dates. And she was like, no, like I don't want to come back. Like I'm done Christmas shopping. She was like, you can have it. And I remember she handed it back to me. So I took it and I was like, thank you. And she was like, yeah, like you were really sweet. You can have it. And it was $30. And I remember I bought myself Converse.
Okay, why did it stop playing? Wait a second. Like, I thought Mercury went direct. Hold on. Let me reload this. Because I'm like,
I don't really consider stealing, but
okay, where were we at? And that's where it stops at. Let me.
Really sweet. You can have it. And it was $30. And I remember I bought myself Converse. I bought myself these. And then I remember they took me to this office like the next day and they were like, is there anything you want to tell us? And I was like, no. And then they told me like what had happened. And then I asked for like, because they could accuse me of stealing, but I was like, can I see the footage? Because I remember she handed it to me and they never showed me the footage and they fired me over that. And then they called me and they were like, you're never allowed to work here again at any Kohl's store. And I was like, okay. I don't really.
Wow. Okay, so let me go back to some of these other comments. Another person said, you were just a kid. This is a stupid rule. A third said, they should have given you a reminder and sent you on your way. In response, Why I Died So Much wrote that, while she now understands that what she did was against the store's policy, a lifelong ban is gratuitous. I understand after a while, but a warning would have been fine, she commented. All right, so of course they reached out to why do I eat so much via TikTok? And then also they reached out to Kohl's with the email. Okay, so that was an interesting story. Honestly, I think she should have spoke to legal, as in found some type of legal counsel, because if there's video footage showing that, hey, the customer gave it back to her, then maybe it could have just turned into, well, we'll just give you a warning versus we're going to ban you from working at all the Kohls. That was over the top, especially since it was a gift. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me get going. Thank you to everyone for supporting the podcast. Until next time, be blessed.